The village had been holding its breath for weeks, trapped in the golden, suffocating haze of a long, relentless summer. The air was thick and silent, heavy with the weight of waiting for a change that felt just out of reach. In the deep shade of the old wooden porch, even the shadows seemed to be resting, and the orange cat hadn't moved from his spot on the floorboards since the sun rose. Grandmother smelled it before anyone else. She stood at the edge of the porch, her weather-worn face turned toward the horizon. It was a subtle shift, the scent of wet earth and crushed grass traveling on a sudden, cool breeze from the mountains. "It's coming," she whispered with a knowing smile that crinkled the corners of her eyes. The children stopped their play, feeling the sudden magical chill on their sun-warmed skin as the first gray clouds began to swallow the sun. Then, the sky finally let go. Huge, heavy drops began to drum against the tin roof, a rhythmic, chaotic heartbeat that echoed through the valley. It wasn't just rain, it was a celebration. You could almost hear the thirsty soil gasping as it drank its fill. The dust of the road turned to rich, dark chocolate, and the world began to smell of life again. Inside, the kitchen became a sanctuary of warmth and orange light. While the storm raged and the wind whistled through the eaves, Grandmother brought out a stack of old newspapers she had been saving. "Rain is for more than just watching," she told the children, her hands already moving with a grace that only comes from years of repetition. She taught them the secret folds, the precise tucks that made the hull strong enough to survive a storm, and the sharp peaks that formed the proud sails. Each crease was a lesson in patience, a quiet memory passed down from her own childhood summers in this very house. The children followed her lead, their small, concentrated faces illuminated by the soft glow of the lamp, their hands mimicking her every move, until a small fleet of paper boats sat upon the wooden table. "We must wait for the puddles to fill," she said softly, pouring 3 mugs of sweet, milky tea. The steam rose in dancing swirls, smelling of ginger and cardamom, mixing perfectly with the cool, earthy scent of the rain blowing in through the cracked window. They sat in a comfortable, holy silence, watching the world outside turn a vibrant, watery green. By the time the mugs were empty, the courtyard had transformed into a network of miniature rushing rivers. The children held their fleet like precious cargo, stepping out onto the wet stones. The air was fresh and sharp, and the oppressive heat of the summer was now nothing more than a distant memory. One by one, the boats were launched. They bobbed and dipped, navigating the treacherous currents of the garden path and the deep canyons of the wheel ruts. To the children, these weren't just scraps of paper. They were vessels carrying their imagination across the village. They cheered as a white boat survived a waterfall near the steps, its paper hull soaked but determined. In the distance, the village began to stir once more. Through the thinning mist, they could see Father in the fields, his straw hat drenched but his spirit high as he checked the irrigation channels. The earth was alive again, humming with the promise of a bountiful harvest. Life in the village was slow, yes, but it was deeply rooted in these simple moments of natural grace. As the stars began to peek through the retreating clouds, the children finally drifted off to sleep, dreaming of paper sails and endless, shimmering rivers. Grandmother remained on the porch, listening to the frogs begin their nightly chorus to the damp earth. The first rain had passed, leaving behind a world made new, and a memory that would linger long after the puddles had dried.